Hey guys, so you all seem to enjoy my last video and a few people were wondering how I actually created it. I think it's actually pretty interesting because it was made in Unity's shader graph rather than in a traditional programming language. I'll also add that with some clever editing you can make it in Premiere Pro, which I'll demonstrate later. To start, it was inspired by this image of Hatsune Miku. To break down the illusion itself, the squares in the image are all the same shade of gray, but because of the alternating black and white shading, some of them look indented while others look like they're being extruded. The Miku version of this image alternates the direction of the lighting to form a silhouette of the character, despite being around the same color throughout. If we want to recreate this effect for ourselves, we can break it down into two parts, the gray square and the alternating lighting colors. Let's start with the gray overlay. We start with a UV, which essentially acts as coordinates for shader programming. From that point we scale it up. It looks all yellow now, but that's only because it's representing values with a brightness over 1. After scaling it up, we can leave only the decimal part in order to create a tiling pattern. We have two coordinates, one for the squares and one for the circles. After doing some math for each, we can get each part of the pattern that we want. Next we want to focus on the stripes. We start with the same UV, but then we rotate it. Next we divide it by a specific amount. This is just so it can line up with the pattern while being rotated. Next we multiply it by a resolution. Then we offset it by that resolution to avoid negatives, and then multiply that by 2. From there we can split the red and green channels of the image and treat them as independent values. We effectively have two increasing values that go two different directions while being lined up with our pattern. Next we treat even numbers as white and the odd numbers as black. Going back to the silhouette, we can have one pattern represent black and the other represent white. After we overlay our gray square pattern, we get the illusion we're looking for. This works for a number of different character silhouettes, and to all Touhou fans, now we're getting to the part with Bad Apple, where the entire video is composed of silhouettes. Basically, I include the Bad Apple music video in a video player, I have that output to a render texture, I include that texture in my shader, and then I use the brightness of the output to decide which pattern to use. The funny part is that most of the work here is in creating the optical illusion rather than treating the video itself, since the video only decides which texture gets used. As a result, you can pretty easily recreate this in Premiere Pro. Just take the video, increase its contrast, tint black and white separate colors, key out the first color with the first pattern behind it, nest the footage, then key out the second color with the second pattern behind it. I'm open sourcing the project on GitHub for anyone who's interested in checking it out, and if you have any other questions, feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll make sure to respond. Thanks. Also, my next video is going to be some super hot fire, so stay tuned and remember to subscribe.